Hello, and if you're watching this, then first of all, a massive thank you, because it means I've hit 7,000 subscribers. So yeah, to celebrate, I thought I'd do something which quite a lot of people have wanted to see for quite some time, I think. It's not quite an updated room tour, that will still be coming at some point in the near future. But first of all, I thought I'd do a special video just dedicated to my figures. And yeah, there's quite a few of them that I've accumulated over the past, 14 or so years? I think at last count it was about 400, but that figure does also include things like TARDISes and spaceships and big accessories and stuff. But yeah, around about 400, give or take. And of course as well, they're not all on display on these shelves. Some of the bigger pieces, the TARDIS playsets and things aren't here, but most of them are. So I'm going to be taking you through my main figure display first of all, which is ordered by episode and season and era, etc. And then we'll take a look at the other bits and pieces in different parts of my room after that. So like I say, the very first shelf is devoted to the earliest stories and seasons and eras of Doctor Who, from the First Doctor, William Hartnell, through Patrick Troughton's Second Doctor, all the way of course to Jon Pertwee's Third Doctor. So we begin down here with a little Season 1 display, and now I should have mentioned already actually that quite a few of these figures, particularly on the classic shelves, are ones that I've got hold of thanks to other people basically getting in touch and helping me out and sending stuff my way, selling me stuff. And that applies to the very first figure here, this lovely variant of the First Doctor in his hat with his scarf and cloak, which I got around about November last year from the Celestial Toy Gazer on Twitter. It's such an iconic figure and looks great there alongside the Sensorites and Wood and Ian Chesterton, obviously, as we got in the B&M sets last year, alongside one of the very first Daleks, of course. Then above that we have some stuff from the other First Doctor era Dalek stories. So we've got a Chase Guard Dalek there on the far left, then a standard 60s drone next to him. It is actually the Power of the Daleks 60s drone variants from the History of the Daleks set last year, but it's the newest variant I own of a standard 60s slatted Dalek, and so I decided to put him there on the shelf. Then next to him we have the Web Planet First Doctor variants from the 13th Doctor set, and then next to him we have two Daleks from the Daleks Master Plan, both of which are from the recent B&M History of the Daleks set. So the Supreme Dalek there in black, and then alongside him there the Flamethrower Dalek. Then right at the back of this portion of the shelf we have a display devoted to the Dalek invasion of Earth. So we've got a Roboman there at the front, flanked by a standard drone Dalek, a Supreme Dalek, and a Saucer Commander Pilot, or whatever it was called, on the right. Then next to them, we've got a Mechanoid from the Chase. The First Doctor stuff concludes down here along the front with the 10th Planet Cybermen, and then the First Doctor variant that came with Sensorites in that Sensorite set last year, but I've got him here just to shake things up a bit. And then we move into the Troughton era stuff. So again from last year's lineup, we have the Abominable Snowman's Second Doctor there in his fur coat along with an Ice Warrior, and then some Cybermen from various 60s Troughton era stories. So we've got the Cyberman and Cyber Controller from the Tomb of the Cybermen, and then behind them an Invasion Cyberman and the Second Doctor from the War Games there in front, and also lurking in the background of course, the Brigadier. On the middle tier we have the Second Doctor from the Tomb of the Cybermen, the very first variant of Patrick Troughton's Doctor that was released, and then on his left of course we've got the Mutant Scoop Dalek from the Power of the Daleks, and on his right the Emperor Guard Dalek from the Evil of the Daleks, and that is the very first release of that figure from Dalek Collector's Set 2. And then we move into the Third Doctor, Jon Pertwee. So we've got that Brigadier there, like I say, at the back, sort of doubling up as an Invasion and Spearhead from Space variants. Then the two classic series Autons, so the blue one from Spearhead, the grey one from Terror of the Autons, and then a trio of figures from the Demons, or indeed the Daemons there, depending on how you like to say the title of that story. So we've got the Master there in his red sort of cultish garb, the Brigadier there with his binoculars, cap and swagger stick, and of course Bok the Gargoyle. And then some stuff from Season 9, so we've got the Gold Supreme Dalek there from Day of the Daleks, alongside the metallic grey drone one, both from the History of the Daleks set from B&M last year. And then in front of them we have the Third Doctor and Jo, both in their outfits from the Time Monster. Behind them, on the middle tier, we have some stuff from the Claws of Axos, so Yates, the Brigadier, Jo, the Axon Man, and Benton. And then to the right of them, we have a little Planet of the Daleks display, with two of the grey metallic drone Daleks, again from the History of the Daleks set last year, and then the Third Doctor and Anti-Lightwave Dalek from the Toys R Us set. And I am eagerly anticipating a re-release of the Gold Supreme Planet Dalek sometime this year, hopefully in a B&M set. At the back there we have the original Master, Roger Delgado, flanked by two of the aliens he teamed up with in the Pertwee era. So on the left there we have the Axon creature, which I got courtesy of Frank Jennings last year. Many thanks Frank, love that figure. And then on the right, of course, we have the original Wave 1 Sea Devil variant from the Sea Devils. And then last but not least for this shelf, we have some stuff from Season 10, starting with the 3 Doctors. So we have the 1st, 2nd and 3rd Doctors in their 3 Doctors outfits, the 1st and 2nd Doctors from the 11th Doctor set, the 3rd Doctor there in red from the 13th Doctor set. We've also got Omega and Gel Guard, the Brigadier and Joe, and finally the 3rd Doctor in his green outfit from Carnival of Monsters, a figure which also came in the 11th Doctor's set. Shelf 2 continues the classic era with a load of 4th Doctor era stuff, and also some 5th and 6th Doctor stuff towards the end there as well. So first and foremost, on the left here, we conclude the Pertwee era with the 3rd Doctor and Sarah Jane in their Monster of Peladon outfits, both from recent B&M sets. And also from B&M, behind them we have the B&M variant of Lynx from the Time Warrior. Down at ground level we have the 4th Doctor Regeneration figure, and that once again is a B&M variant. On the middle tier, we've got a little Season 12 display going on. So first of all, hot off the press on the left there, we have the new 4th Doctor variant from the B&M robot set with his lovely vibrant red jacket. Behind him, we have the B&M variant of Sontaran Steyr from the Sontaran Experiment. And in front of him, we have the fantastic Genesis of the Daleks Davros figure, which I was lucky enough to get hold of last year, courtesy of Joe Plum. Thank you so much for that, Joe. It's such a fantastic figure, and it's just so great to have the original version of Davros on the shelf. And then to his right, we have the B&M figures of Harry Sullivan and Sarah Jane Smith. And to the right of them, we finally have a Genesis Dalek, which is the sound effects variant from Sound Effects Daleks Wave 2. At the back, we have the revised K1 robot, again from that B&M set, and then a load of figures from Pyramids of Mars. So we've got the 4th Doctor variant from that story, we've got Sutekh, we've got Marcus Scarman, a sarcophagus, and 2 mummies, one with the gold bands and one without. Also from Season 13, along the front here, we've got a little Terror of the Zygons display going on, with the B&M set, which comprises the 4th Doctor there in his hat and scarf, Benton, and definitely not Mike Yates, and then a Zygon from Classic Wave 1. Then to the right of them, we have the Seeds of Doom 4th Doctor, that's the version that came in the 11th Doctor set, and behind him, lurking in the background, we have the B&M version of the Deadly Assassin Master. And then to the right of them, we have some figures from the Talons of Weng Chiang. So we have Mr. Sin there at the front, the B&M 4th Doctor figure from the 70s set a couple of years ago, and Magnus Greel over at the end there. We've also got a Leela figure from Image of the Fendal, and a couple of accessories there at Leela's feet, also from Image of the Fendal, and also a Sontaran helmet from the Invasion of Time. Rounding off Season 13, we have the Morbius creature from the Brains of Morbius, and he sits alongside the massive deluxe Fendal from the Image of the Fendal set. Then on the middle tier, we have a little display devoted to the Robots of Death. So we have 3 robots from that story, SV7, a Green Vok robot, and D84. Then we also have a 4th Doctor variant from that story, actually a Pyramids of Mars variant with the alternate head from the Wave 1 figure, and he's holding the gun which comes with the face of evil Leela, who in turn is stood beside him. Back on the front row, we have the 4th Doctor in his outfit from Sharda, alongside Romana 1 from the Pirate Planet, and at their feet we have the K9 figure, which came in the B&M set a few years back with the 4th Doctor and Leela. Then on the middle tier we have the Leela figure from that set in her Invasion of Time attire, alongside Sontaran Commander Stall from that story, which I was lucky enough to get hold of last autumn thanks to Tom Jones. Really pleased to have that figure. It was the final Sontaran figure I needed to complete the set. Next to him we have Romana 1 in her Power of Kroll outfits from the recent B&M set. We then have the 4th Doctor in his outfit from City of Death, again from a B&M set a few years back. And finally, alongside him, Romana 2 from Destiny of the Daleks. Rounding off the 4th Doctor's era, we have the 4th Doctor in his Season 18 outfits from the 13th Doctor's set. We have Romana 2 in her outfit from the Horns of Naimon. And then over here we have the Keeper of Traken set, which I was very lucky to get hold of recently. It was sent to me by Connor Goddard, all the way from Australia, which is mad, and many thanks for that, Connor. It's great to have those figures there, alongside, of course, the 5th Doctor variants from Logopolis and Castrovalva, the Master's TARDIS there in pillar form, and then right at the end, a trio of figures from the Caves of Androzani. So the 5th Doctor from the B&M set with the TARDIS, then Perry and Sharaz Jek from the 2-pack. Then the 5th Doctor era starts properly along the front here, so we've got the Visitation hatted 5th Doctor variant alongside 2 androids from the recent Earthshock set. Behind them we have an Earthshock Cyberman I got from Dave Shep, aka Custom Who, the other month. And then alongside them we have the Raston Warrior Robot and 3rd Doctor, both from the recent 5 Doctors set. A generic 5th Doctor variant, the one which came in the 11 Doctors set, I believe. And behind him, the Cyber Leader, which also came in that 5 Doctors set. At their feet we have some interesting accessories, so we have the Source Manipulator Sphere from the Keeper of Traken, a Shrunk Logopolitan from Logopolis, the Cyberman Bomb from the Earthshock set, and then the head of an android from the Caves of Androzani set. We've got some Season 21 stuff on this middle tier. So firstly, on the left here, we've got the 5th Doctor from The Awakening from the 13 Doctors set. And for ages, I had nothing to put him with on the shelf. And then very recently, I was lucky enough to get hold of a Supreme Dalek and Drone Dalek from Resurrection of the Daleks, courtesy of Outer Space Customs on Instagram. And I'm so pleased with these figures, particularly that Supreme. It just looks so lovely on the shelf and really pops. And of course, also from Season 21, we're going to be getting the Silurian Triad very shortly too, from Warriors of the Deep. So it has taken a while, but I think going forwards, that Davison is going to be in very good company. Then moving into the 6th Doctor's era, we have the 6th Doctor there in his Season 22 outfit, alongside a Cyberman, Rogue Cyberman, and Perry, all from Attack of the Cybermen. And then last but not least for the shelf, we have Perry and Syl from Vengeance on Varos. Then on to the 3rd shelf. Now this one did used to be entirely devoted to new series stuff. It used to be the start of the new series section of the display with Series 1 and Christopher Eccleston. And then over the years it's gradually been invaded by Paul McGann stuff, Sylvester McCoy, Colin Baker, etc. And of course, as I get more classic figures in the future, that is only going to continue. But at the moment, it does still contain some new series stuff, so namely the Series 1 stuff, then some of the Series 2 stuff as well, continuing into the 4th shelf. So firstly here on the front, right on the left, we have a little 2 Doctors display with the 2nd Doctor as Androgum, Perry in her outfit from that story, and of course Sontaran Stike. And that moves into the Sylvester McCoy stuff over here. So we've got a mini remembrance of the Daleks display going on first and foremost, just with Imperial Daleks at the moment, though I do hope to add some Renegade Daleks there when they get re-released in History of the Daleks. But we do at least have the Imperial Drone Dalek there from the recent B&M set, alongside the Ace figure from that set. And then the Special Weapons Dalek, and that is the sound effects variant of that figure. And then finally, the Season 24-25 7th Doctor figure with smiling hatted head in his cream jacket. Behind them, on the middle, we have a little revelation of the Daleks display there, very topical for the Season 22 collection box set coming out soon. And that is basically just the revelation of the Daleks set there, with the 2 Daleks, Davros and the 6th Doctor. And then moving along, we have the 8th Doctor and Alpha Dalek, of course from Children of the Revolution, from that Toys R Us set back in the day, which I recently got from Emily at Star in Her Eye on Twitter and Instagram. Such a fantastic set, love those 2 figures. Then right at the back there, we have the 6th Doctor in his Terror of the Vervoids outfit from the 11 Doctors set. We have the B&M Silver Nemesis Cybermen and the 7th Doctor variant that came in that set as well, with his bright cream jacket. And also Ace in her outfit from Silver Nemesis. And then to finish off the McCoy section, we have 2 of the Brown Jacket Season 26 variants. So first of all, we have the one that came with the TARDIS with the hat, which I picked up loose a few years back. And then behind him, we have the one that came in the 13 Doctors set, without the hat and with the serious head. Then moving into New Who, we do of course have Paul McGann's 8th Doctor there, alongside yet another Season 26 Brown Jacket 7th Doctor variant, as that is the one that came in the 11 Doctors set. And then of course Series 1, so loads of Autons there, the 9th Doctor himself, some little accessories from the early Series 1 stories, and that continues into the End of the World here, with Jabe, Rose, Cassandra and the Mox of Balhoun. Behind them we have the mutant reveal Dalek, alongside the Ninth Doctor in his green jumper from Dalek and A Long Game and Father's Day. We also have the editor there in the background, and alongside him we have the Imperial Guard Dalek and Ninth Doctor from The Parting of the Ways, from that excellent Toys R Us set from back in the day. And then right at the back, hidden behind lots of taller figures, we do of course have the Empty Child, and then Dr. Constantine to his left with the alternate gas mask head, and then the very first figure of Captain Jack behind him in his blue RAF uniform. And then along the front we have the first few bits from Series 2, so the 10th Doctor there in his long coat, Rose, a couple of robot spiders, K9, Chip and Novice Haim, and of course, right at the back there, the best figure of them all lurking away there, Destroyed Cassandra. We then have the regeneration figure of the 10th Doctor, then the Sycorax leader and Sycorax warrior, both from the Christmas invasion, and then to the right of them, a couple of Clockwork droid variants. I'm still missing the blue one, but I have got the black one and the purple one from the Gelth Phantom Build-A-Figure wave, and then in front of them, of course, the much-loved Elizabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith in her outfit from School Reunion. Right at the back of this shelf, we've got the werewolf from Tooth and Claw, as sort of just balanced there so not to fall over all of the other figures. Then some bits and pieces from Rise of the Cybermen and The Age of Steel. So the 10th Doctor there in his tux, a more recent variant of the 10th Doctor from 2017. And then a standard Cyberman, the Cyber Controller sitting there on his throne. And then finally for this shelf, some bits and pieces from the Ood two-parter. So we've got the 10th Doctor there in his orange spacesuit. We've got two obelisks, we've got an Ood, we've got Toby Zed possessed, and finally the Sanctuary base lift. Then on to shelf 4, so we have the vast majority of the remaining 10 era figures here from series 2, 3 and 4, and yeah, there are rather a lot of them. So first up we have the remaining figures from series 2, so we have Grandma Connolly and then the Wire down here, alongside a destroyed Cyberman and some ghost triangulation gear. We've also got the Hoiks from Love and Monsters, and then some stuff from Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. So the 10th Doctor there with his ghost gear and his backpack on. Mickey Smith also from that story with his preacher thing round his neck and his gun. And then a generic Cyberman from the Series 2 finale. Behind them we have the first of the Series 3 figures, so we have a little Smith & Jones display going on here firstly, with a Jadoon Captain, a Jadoon Trooper, and the 10th Doctor and Martha. And then at the back we have a display mainly based around Daleks in Manhattan and evolution of the Daleks. So we have Dalek Sec there on the left, we have the destroyed Dalek Thay, and then some other figures from this story. So Dalek Sec Hybrid there, two pig slaves and Laszlo. And right behind them, lurking away in the background, we have the Genesis arc from the Series 2 finale. Down along the front here, we have a display devoted to the Series 3 finale. So we have Professor Yana there on the left. We've got two versions of the Johnson Master, one in his regeneration clothes, one in his suit. We've also got some closed Toclophane, Captain Jack in his long coat in the background, Martha with an open Toclophane in her outfit from Last of the Time Lords, a generic Time Lord there from the flashback scene in the Sound of Drums, Captain Jack without his coat on, the aged 10th Doctor on the right, and if we just move down we can also see the ancient 10th Doctor down here alongside the Master's ring and the Doctor's hand in a jar. Once again, the figures on this middle tier aren't particularly visible just because I haven't got around to buying plinths for them yet, but I will do my best to show them off anyhow. So we have Lilith the Carrionite from the Shakespeare Code, we then have Brannigan and Novice Haim from Gridlock, and then over here the sun-possessed Hal Corwin from 42, and in front of him the 10th Doctor in his spacesuit from that story. At the back up here we've got the three Scarecrow variants from Human Nature and the Family of Blood. So in front we have the blue-grey tunic version, which I believe is the rarer one, and then behind him we've got the two brown tunic variants, one with a brown tie and one with a blue tie. And rounding off the Series 3 section we have a few figures from Blink. So we have two Weeping Angels, one weeping, one screaming, and then the hologram 10th Doctor figure, which could have gone in a number of places on the shelf, but this is simply where I had the most room for him. And to the right of them, we have the figures from the Voyage of the Damned set, so two Heavenly Host, Astropeth, and the 10th Doctor. Then on to Series 4, we have the 10th Doctor and Donna in her outfit from Planet of the Ood, and alongside them we do of course have three Ood from that story, so two Natural Ood and Ood Sigma, And if we move down here, we've got a load of adipose from Partners in Crime, the Series 4 opener. So the ones on the left are from character, and the ones on the right are actually from Big Chief and their 6th scale range. And yeah, they look alright with 5-inch figures, so I decided to stick them on this shelf. At the back, we have a display devoted to the fires of Pompeii, so we have the Pyrovile creature, the Pyrovile priestess, and then a generic Roman soldier. We do also have the 10th Doctor there, and that's the variant which came with the Crucible Dalek in the Toys R Us pack. And then to the right of him, we have one of my most prized possessions, the Build-A-Figure Vespiform, which I was lucky enough to complete during the first lockdown. Then along the front here, we have a display devoted to the Sontaran Stratagem and the Poison Sky. We've got 4 Sontarans there, so General Stahl, Commander Score, and 2 Troopers. We also have the 10th Doctor there on the right, and that's the variant which came in the 11th Doctor set. Behind them, we have some figures from the latter half of Series 4, so a Hath from the Doctor's Daughter, a Vashnarada and Riversong from the Library 2-parter, and then to the right of them, we do of course have Davros. And then finally for this shelf, a trio of Daleks from the Series 4 finale. So we have 2 Crucible Daleks here, the one on the left from the Stolen Earth set, the one on the right from the aforementioned Toys R Us pack, and then in the centre we have the rather striking Red Supreme. Shelf 5 has most of the Matt Smith era stuff from Series 5 and 6. But first we have the last few bits of Tennant era stuff. So here we have the End of Time wave with Rassilon, or the narrator, the Master in his hoodie, the 10th Doctor with his battle scars, and then the Regeneration 11th Doctor figure. Behind them we've got a trio of Cybermen from the next Doctor, so we've got the Cyber Leader there in the centre with his black face and handlebars, and then 2 standard Cybermen, which are technically from the Series 2 section of the shelf, but I thought I'd put them here to keep the Cyber Leader company. And then the 11th Doctor era begins. So we have some stuff from the 11th hour, we have the Crash set, Raggedy 11th Doctor, Amelia, Amy and Prisoner Zero. We then have the 11th Doctor from the 13th Doctor set, alongside some other figures from The Beast Below. So we have 2 Smilers, Hawthorne and Peter the Winder. Slightly hidden away on the middle tier, we have some stuff from Victory of the Daleks. So we've got the T-Tray Ironside Dalek variant there, alongside Winston Churchill from that 2-pack. We've then got the 11th Doctor in his blue bow tie and shirt from the Toys R Us variants of the Crash set, alongside Amy from the standard Series 5 waves, and then the 2 variants of Bracewell, so one with the black glove and waistcoat, and one with the alternate chest piece and arm. Then right at the back we have a complete Dalek paradigm, so a strategist, an eternal, a supreme, a drone and a scientist. And they're actually in the order that they appeared in the episode when they were first unveiled. Then along the front we have some stuff from the Series 5 Angel 2-parter. We have the jacketless 11th Doctor there for the San Diego Comic Con 2-pack with a Dalek scientist. We have the weeping version of the Looped Angel, a regenerating angel there, then Angel Bob. We also have the screaming variant of the Looped Angel behind him. And then to the right of them we have some stuff from the Vampires of Venice. So we have Francesco the Vampire, and Rory Williams in his red shirt and blue body warmer. Behind them we have a little Hungry Earth / Cold Blood display. So we have the standard 11th Doctor variant there from all the Series 5 waves. We also have 3 Silurians, so a Leia on the left, Restak in the middle, and then the standard Silurian warrior from the Pandoric wave on the right. And then slap bang in the middle we have the other variant of Rory. Then at the back we have a little Pandorica Open / Big Bang display going on. So on the far left we have the Cyber Sentry, that is the Argos exclusive variant, and he's actually holding the head which came with the other variant from the Pandorica wave. Then we have 2 variants of Riversong, both variants of the Roman Auton, and slap bang in the middle, the 11th Doctor with his fez and mop. Moving into Series 6 now, we have the blue shirt 11th Doctor and also the Ganger Doctor, both from the Ganger 2-parter. We've also got Amy in her Let's Kill Hitler outfit from the recent B&M set, and behind her, a peg doll soldier from Night Terrors. And at their feet we have various dismembered Matt Smith body parts from the Flesh Goo Pod. I've got 3 out of 5 of them so far, so still missing the head and the longer leg, which I guess I hope to get hold of one day. Then the middle tier concludes with 2 Silence from the Series 6 opener, one with a closed mouth, one with an open mouth. Then the 11th Doctor with his Stetson in front of them, also the rather bizarre straitjacket variant of the 11th Doctor there, then a Cyberman from A Good Man Goes to War, and then I've also got there the Christmas Adventure set variant of the 11th Doctor, just because he looks best there really. And last but not least for this shelf, we have some stuff from the Doctor's wife. So we have the junk TARDIS playset there, obviously, and inside that we have Uncle, the white shirt variant of the 11th Doctor from Series 6, Idris, and Ood Nephew. And then finally, the 6th shelf concludes the 11th Doctor's era, it also covers the 12th Doctor's era, and then brings us right up to date with the 13th Doctor's era. So firstly, we have the last few bits of Series 6 stuff. So we have 3 corroded Cybermen from Closing Time, the front one with electric shock hands from one of the later Series 6 waves, and then at their feet we have some Cybermats, also from that story. Behind them we have a little Wedding of Riversong display going on, so we have 2 silent variants once again, this time the grey ones, and they have also both got electric shock hands. And then in the middle we have the 11th Doctor with his beard, and the Riversong variant of the astronaut. And then on the back row we move into Series 7 with a load of stuff from Asylum of the Daleks. Firstly we have the 11th Doctor and Strategist Dalek, the nice metallic one from the Toys R Us set. We then have Oswin and 3 Daleks from another Toys R Us set, the 3-pack of Asylum Daleks. So we have the Dirty Dup Supreme, the Bronze Asylum Dalek, and a metallic red drone. We then have some stuff from the Day of the Doctor and the 50th anniversary. So firstly, on the left there, that's actually the Progenitor Guard Dalek from Victory of the Daleks, and he's here just because there are already enough Daleks on the Victory of the Daleks section of the shelf. We then have the Doctors from the 50th anniversary stories, so we have the 8th Doctor from the Night of the Doctor, again just to add some variety to the shelf, and that is indeed the Battle-Scarred variants from the 13 Doctors set. We then have the 11th Doctor from the Time of the Doctors set, the 10th Doctor also from the 13 Doctors set, the original release of the War Doctor, and last but not least, the Curator. At their feet we have the Moment and Oswin's Burnt Souffle from the Impossible set. Rounding off the 11th Doctor's era, on the middle tier, we have the B&M Weeping Angel variant from a few years back. I've put it there as a sort of Angels Take Manhattan / Time of the Doctor variant. We then have the Snowman 11th Doctor with top hat from the Impossible set, the B&M variant of that figure with the aged head from the Time of the Doctor set, and then the Oswin figure also from that B&M set as a sort of stand-in for Clara from Series 7B. Moving into the Capaldi era, we have the white shirt variant of the 12th Doctor alongside the purple dress version of Missy. We've got the Toys R Us version of Clara there in her dark blue dress, and then on the end, the 12th Doctor in his Girl Who Died outfit from Series 9. Then at their feet we have various accessories. So firstly we've got 2 spiders from Kill the Moon, technically from the 3.75 inch range, but they work nicely enough with the 5 inch figures. We then have the flatline shrunk TARDIS, that's another item from the Big Chief 1/6 scale range, and again it works nicely enough with the 5 inch stuff. And then we also have 3 versions of Missy's device from the various Missy figures. On the middle tier, we have various odds and ends. So we have 2 12th Doctor variants, one with the purple shirt and one with the black shirt, the latter the version from the 13 Doctors set. And then in between them, we have Missy in her black outfit from the end of Deep Breath. And then to the right of them, we have a custom Dalek, which is actually meant to be the Metaltron from Series 1, and he's just here again to give a bit of variety. At the back there, we have a little display devoted to the Series 9 opener, so we have the recent B&M Witches Familiar set there with the 12th Doctor and Davros. We've also got the Series 9 version of Missy, and then to the right of them we have the 12th Doctor in his outfit from Before the Flood, alongside Bill Potts. And behind them, we have the Gallifrey Falls No More painting, which came with the Curator. Rounding off the Capaldi era, we have the aforementioned 12th Doctor from The Girl Who Died there on the left, then 3 more figures from Series 10. So Bill in her outfit from a couple of scenes in the pilot, Missy in her outfit from Series 10, and the 12th Doctor in his red velvet jacket. And finally, we have the Whittaker era. So we have the original release of the 13th Doctor there, alongside her fam, Orion Yaz from the B&M set, Graham of course from the single carded release, and to the right of them we have the Recon Dalek, one of my favourite figures from recent years. We also have, at ground level, the Dalek Mutant, which came with that figure. On the middle tier, we have the US exclusive version of the 13th Doctor with the lighter blue top, and to her left we have a random Sontaran. That's actually the more metallic B&M variant from a few years back, and he's just there as a bit of a tribute to War of the Sontarans. To the right of them, we have a trio of Jadoon from Fugitive of the Jadoon. I love how these guys look together, they look so great with their new guns. And last but not least for this main display, we have the 13th Doctor there in her pink top, alongside the versions of the fam from the second B&M set, and behind them, we do of course have the 13th Doctor's TARDIS. Moving on to odds and ends now, we do in fact have here, on top of this picture frame, 2 more figures from Pyramids of Mars. So the Jackalhead variant of Sutekh, and then another mummy. And they're just here because they're essentially duplicates, and I'd rather have the space on the shelf for other figures. Then right at the bottom of those main figure shelves, we've got a little bonus display of various Doctor variants that I can't quite justify making the space for on the main display. So on the far left there, we have the first Doctor from the recent B&M TARDIS set. We've got another 2 Doctors variant of the second Doctor there, that's from the 13 Doctors set. We've got the blue jacket 3rd Doctor from Invasion of the Dinosaurs and Planet of the Spiders. And I would have that one on the main display, but there are literally no other figures from those stories to display him with. So if character could get onto that as soon as possible, that would be grand. We then have the Wave 1 version of the 4th Doctor, recently demoted to this shelf to make space for the new B&M revised version. We've got the Earthshock version of the 5th Doctor from the B&M Earthshock set. He's simply here because I've got so many variants of the 5th Doctor, can't make space for all of them on the shelf. We then have the real-time version of the 6th Doctor, then 2 versions of the 7th Doctor, and of course the Dark Eyes 8th Doctor. So they're all from Big Finish audio stories, and they're all here because I just thought to myself one day, if I'm going to make space for new figures on the shelf and something's got to go, then it makes sense to put the Big Finish stuff elsewhere because it's basically its own thing. Then to the right of them we have the War Doctor, and that's the variant from the 13 Doctors set, and then 3 generic versions of the 9th, 10th and 11th Doctors. So the 9th and 11th Doctors are duplicates of figures I've already got. The 10th Doctor, with his glasses and spiky hair, is from a B&M set from back in the day. Then at the back we have the original Claws of Axos Brigadier, we have the original Remembrance of the Daleks Ace with her baseball bat, we have the other variant of the Cyber Pandorica Sentry at the back, a custom 12th Doctor from Kill the Moon, using the Capaldi head from the Time of the Doctor set, and then a Weevil from Torchwood. And that is the only Torchwood figure that I currently own. I do plan on getting the rest at some point in the near future, but just haven't really got around to it yet, to be honest. Speaking of spin-offs, I do have all of the Sarah Jane Adventures figures. So we've got the Star Poet up there, the one that lights up. Then down here we've got the various Sarah Jane variants. So the pink cardigan one, which came with that Star Poet figure, the one in the red outfit, which came with the baby Slitheen there in front, then the one in the coat with the handbag, and the one in the brown waistcoat, alongside the Kudlak and the Grask. And behind them, just in case you're interested, we have the Sherlock figure released by Underground Toys, and then to his left, a custom of Moriarty from Sherlock, and to his right, a custom of a character called Professor Jones, who appeared in some of my old figure adventures. Then up here on top of this bookcase we have a little Pandorica underhenge display with a completed Pandorica with the Pandorica chair inside, then also the 3 stone underhenge figures that were released, so the Cyberman, the Dalek and the Roman. And you might notice that they look a bit cobwebby and dusty, and that's because I deliberately don't dust them, just to make them look that little bit more authentic. We then have a sort of overflow of classic Daleks, mostly from the 60s, which I simply can't justify making the space for on the shelf, otherwise they'd take up far too much space. So first of all we have 2 Daleks from the very first Dalek story, the Daleks. We then have a Jungles of Mechanist Dalek from the Chase, alongside a standard drone from that story with a slightly droopy plunger stick. Then the original releases of the Flamethrower Dalek from the Enemies of the First Doctor set, and the Gold Supreme Dalek from Dalek Collector's Set 2. And then right at the back we have the Drashig from the Enemies of the Third Doctor set, and that is simply there because it would take up too much space if it was on the main display. We've also got a couple of other Daleks there that don't quite fit onto the other Dalek display, so the other Jungles of Mechanist Dalek there on the left, and then another drone from the Chase on the right. Down here we have a Sontaran pod from the Time Warrior, which I recently got hold of thanks to Mestor the Magnificent, and next to that we have the Flesh Bowl from the Ganger 2-parter. Then we have the 11th Doctor's TARDIS playset, which, yeah, I've got a soft spot for actually myself. I think it looks nice. And yeah, okay, it's not got lights and sounds like the original, but it is a nice piece in its own right, nevertheless. We then have the multitude of classic series TARDISes released in recent years. So first of all, we have the recent B&M First Doctor TARDIS there on the left. We then have the Abominable Snowmen Second Doctor TARDIS there next to it. Then the War Games TARDIS, the Time Monster and Monster of Paladon TARDISes, the Robot and Sharda TARDISes, and then last but not least there on the end, the Castrovalva and Caves of Androzani TARDISes. Above them we have my new series TARDISes. So first of all, on the left there is a custom War Doctor's TARDIS, obviously from the day of the Doctor. We then have the 9th and 10th Doctor's TARDIS, the two variants of the 11th Doctor's TARDIS, so the original Flight Control one, and then the Christmas Adventure Set one without any lights and sounds. And then on the end there, the 12th Doctor's TARDIS from the Collector's Series wave a few years back. And in front of them we have 4 Daleks. So 3 on the left hand side are big Finnish Daleks from the B&M sets a few years back, and then on the right there is a generic Dalek in the original sculpt from Series 1, 2 and 3. And then last but certainly not least, we have the original TARDIS playset. Such a fantastic toy from my childhood. I've got so many great memories of playing with this one and making little figure adventures and things, and now it houses various spare figures that don't really have a home anywhere else. So down on the bottom here, we've got the US release of the 4th Doctor Regenerated. We've also got the rather ghastly bleached yellow hair variant of Rose from the Dalek Battle Pack, and then various duplicate Doctors and companions. And then up on the top here, we have a couple of Krillitane variants, both with open mouths. So in front, the grey variant, which I recently got from Miles for Christmas, and behind that, the brown variant. And there we have it, my entire Doctor Who figure collection as of February 2022. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Not gonna lie, it's been a bit of an undertaking to make this, but I have really enjoyed it, you know. There is a reason why I put off making videos like this, because they do take a lot of time and a lot of effort and stuff. But as I say, you know, it's been great fun to do and to edit it and to see the collection and to take this sort of snapshot in this moment of time of how things look and have a record of that. Because, you know, of course, it's not a complete collection. I think it's roughly about 85% complete. So there's still about 70 odd figures that I haven't got yet, which have been released. And of course, stuff will be released in the future as well, in future B&M sets and online exclusives and things like that. So it will change again, you know, in the coming months and years. And who knows, you know, maybe once enough stuff has changed, I'll make another one of these further down the line. I'll put up an image right now of the figures that I am still missing, because I am sort of actively trying to track them down, particularly the classic series figures. So if you're watching this and you own some of those classic figures and you don't want them anymore, please do get in touch with me at Stetson Doctor on Twitter or Instagram, and I will happily take them off your hands. Please do give the video a like if you've enjoyed it, because it's taken a long time to put together. Please do also subscribe to the channel if you're new for more videos like this. Do also feel free to check out my Patreon if you're that way inclined. The link to that is in the description below. And of course, as a thank you, all of my Patreon backers get their names featured at the end of every video that I make. Thanks once again for 7,000 subscribers as well. And yeah, stay tuned for more stuff in the coming weeks and months. But until the next one, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.